what if the deepest secrets of a sacred text aren't hidden in its words at all, but in its numbers? Today on The Explainer, we're digging into a fascinating theory that suggests there's a mathematical code, a hidden pattern embedded right inside the Quran. And it has nothing to do with translation or theology. It's all about simple arithmetic.
So the whole mystery really starts with these things right here, the Muqatta'ats. At the beginning of 29 chapters or surahs of the Quran, you find these strange little combinations of Arabic letters. Things like Alif Lam Mim or Yasin. Now, you can't just look these up in a dictionary. They're not words in the typical sense. They're often called disconnected letters. And for well over 1,000 years, their true purpose has been a massive puzzle. Yeah, for centuries, scholars have been debating what they could possibly mean. But the research we're exploring today flips the whole question on its head. It asks something pretty radical. What if the secret isn't about what these letters say, but about how they're counted? What if it's all a numerical code? Okay, let's get into it. According to the source material for this explainer, the code is built on 3 really simple foundational numbers. These are like the keys that supposedly unlock that very first layer of the pattern. So the theory kicks off with 3 key numbers. And the first 2 are, wonderfully straightforward. First up is the number 2, which stands for the Muqatta'at that have just 2 letters, like da, ha. And then you've got the number 3 for those very common 3-letter sets, like the famous Alif Lam Mim. Simple enough, right? But this third key, this one's different. It's the number 7. And this isn't a letter count. The source suggests it's a symbolic number. Think 7 heavens or the 7 days of creation. Or maybe it's even a direct pointer to the 7th chapter of the Quran. So we've got our 3 keys, 2, 3, and 7. What happens when we actually put them together? Well, let's see. The very first step in this pattern is about as simple as it gets. Addition. You take those 3 key numbers, 2, 3, and 7, you add them all up, and boom, you get 12. And here it is, the first big aha moment in this theory. That number, 12, points you directly to Surah 12, the chapter of Joseph. So you go and look at the beginning of that chapter, and what do you find? The Muqatta'at, Alif, Lam, Ra. And how many letters is that? It's exactly 3. It connects right back to one of our original key numbers. Pretty neat. Okay, so that was the first layer. Just simple addition. But the pattern, well, it expands from there. The theory suggests you can take those exact same 3 numbers and just apply a different kind of math. So this time, instead of adding, we're going to multiply. 2 times 3 times 7. And that gives us 42. So if the pattern holds, we should probably take a look at Surah 42. And this is where it gets really compelling. We look at Surah 42, which is called Ashura. And as you can see, it's totally unique. It is the only chapter in the entire Quran that begins with 2 separate sets of these disconnected letters. The first set, Ha Mim, has 2 letters. The second one, Ain Sin Qaf, has 3. It literally mirrors the 2 numbers, 2 and 3, that we just multiplied together to get here. But wait, there's more. The pattern doesn't stop there. The next layer introduces one last key number and, this is where we run into a fascinating little puzzle that the researchers themselves are quick to point out. Our final key number is 29. Now, this isn't some symbolic choice. It's just a hard fact about the way the Quran is structured. There are exactly 29 chapters that begin with these mysterious letters. It's a structural constant. So, the pattern continues. We take that symbolic number 7 from before, and we add our new structural number 29. The sum is 36, and this points us right to Surah 36, a very famous chapter named for its Muqatta'at, Yasin. And notice, Yasin has 2 letters, once again echoing one of our original key numbers. But this is where the theory takes a really strange turn, and to their credit, the researchers are very open about this. They connect the result, 36, to this other number, 729, which they point out is 27 squared. But the link between 36 and 729 isn't explained. It's a leap. And you've got to respect their transparency here. They literally say, the connection is not immediately clear. And they flat out acknowledge that saying 36 equals 729 is, well, mathematically wrong. They float a couple of ideas. Maybe it's a hint pointing to Surah 27, or maybe it's part of a totally different pattern we haven't figured out yet. It's a total open question.
So let's just take a step back and look at the whole system together. The parts that seem to click into place perfectly, and the part that remains a bit of a head-scratcher.
So here it is, the whole system laid out. You've got 4 core numbers, 2, 3, 7, and 29. Using really basic math, addition and multiplication, these numbers generate results, 12, 42, and 36, that point to specific chapters. And in each of those chapters, the Muqatta'at at the beginning have letter counts that match the numbers you started with. And then you have the outlier, that's 729, which is noted as a potential link to Surah 27, but really stands out as this unresolved piece of the puzzle.
Ultimately, the source analysis doesn't claim to have the final answer. It just presents the pattern and lays out the data. And that leaves us with a really profound question. Are we looking at a deliberate, hidden mathematical architecture woven into the very fabric of the Quran, a kind of divine signature? Or is this a testament to the human brain's incredible and sometimes misleading ability to find meaningful patterns in almost anything? The source provides the numbers. The conclusion, well, that's yours to ponder.